And we're back with more The Incredible Hokes, continuing our epic saga of movies that should have won that didn't the Oscar. The rules being post 1977 and has to be a nominee. You can't say, well, Val Kilmer should have won for Tombstone. Well, he wasn't nominated. You can't say that. I know you want to, but you can't say it. So we're moving on to actors, actor and actress.
What do you think out there, folks? You think I should be able to say that? Huh?
Oh, I'm Chris.
I'm Mark.
There you go. So, all right. So, what is your best actor case where the guy lost and should have won? Blah blah blah. Who got hosed the most? 1977. After 1977.
Well, on further reflection, I think in 2003, Sean Penn won for Mystic River, right?
Right.
And I think I would have liked to have seen Johnny Depp win for his signature role, Jack Sparrow, in the Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. I know it's a genre film, but he's just so good at that character. He really brought a unique personality to the screen, and it was the instant pulp culture, that character. And he's become the ultimate pirate, you know, really. Right. When people go to amusement parks or talk like a pirate day, everybody wants to dress like, or Halloween parties, everyone wants to dress like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
And I think you have to attribute a lot of that to his performance. You can't just dismiss it as, well, that was a action-adventure film or something like that. He really brings something, a lot of humor to it, but a lot of personality. It's a lot more meatier than that. You compare that to Sean Penn, who's always good, but in Mystic River, he's really in the movie like 15 minutes.
You're the king.
And it's an Oscar for the lead role. Yeah. And the lead role in Pirates of the Caribbean is Jack Sparrow. He's actually in it all 2.5 hours and interacts with major characters, has a story arc and so forth. So I think if you're going to hand out best, actor awards, it should be for someone who actually has more than 15 minutes of screen time.
Well, Johnny Depp did create a character, and he became lost in it and sort of created this complete vision of a character. So he did an amazing job. And to do that in the context of a action summer tentpole type movie, which is really rare, to create that well-defined of a character, unique, and to bring something unique as well to a summer tentpole movie, which is what it was. It was a a movie they set up in the summer to be a big hit, and it was, and I don't think it was going to be that big a hit, but it was, and sort of spawned this whole thing, and it's really rare to make that happen.
Yeah.
In those type of movies, and that kind of performance or whatever. So yeah, Sean Penn, great actor, decent movie. I can't disagree too much. People will like, well, seriousness and stuff. Well, man, we're talking about performance, man.
Performance, yeah. I mean, comedy is not necessarily easy. Everybody assumes.
Good God, no.
People assume that a comedy is just in telling the joke. So if you write a good joke, anyone can say it. Well, that's not true. Some people can read it and it's dry, but if someone else reads it and it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Comedy's a mystery, folks.
Well, yeah. I mean, Eddie Murphy and The Nutty Professor was just freaking transcendent. As good as any performance ever. This is an amazing performance. It wasn't nominated, and I remember at the time being just like, I can't believe, Eddie Murphy and Nutty Professor didn't get nominated. I mean, the guy was insanely just putting it out there, just like,
and it was
the timing and the characterizations and stuff, and it totally got overlooked because it's a comedy, and that was just unfair because he acted his ass off, and that's just one example of like. It's apples and oranges, sometimes comparing these performances. You know? All right, so my actor that got hosed, that I'm going to go a little bit different, and it's somewhat similar in terms of a movie star versus a actor-y type performance. But I'm going to go, what year was it? It was 1996. Geoffrey Rush won for Shine. I felt that Tom Cruise should have won for Jerry Maguire. Kind of the same argument, a really similar argument.
Yeah.
Geoffrey Rush, that character was portrayed by 2 different actors, I think. And Geoffrey Rush is maybe in 40% of the movie. Maybe. He don't have that much screen time. And it's just sort of that typical, the whole Tropic Thunder full retard type thing where he's doing the Dustin Hoffman Rain Man sort of characterization with the mumbling, talking, and that kind of thing. And I know that's easy to say that's great acting or not. I don't know. I think there's mimicry and then there's acting. And I thought that was sort of like, even Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man, that's kind of just a mimicry. You know? Does it make sense? He's being repetitive and mimic. Jamie Foxx and Ray, that's sort of just a mimicry. He's just mimicking things. You know? I don't know how much layered and depth there is to that performance. Is it an easy job? No, it's really difficult work to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they didn't deserve some sort of attention for it, but take a movie like Jerry Maguire and Tom Cruise. I mean, this has got a lot of emotions. There's multiple layers of things going on. You're carrying every frame of the movie. It's called Jerry Maguire. You're Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
You're in every last scene of the movie, carrying this emotional range, from the whole arc of the story. That's a lot of work. That's a tough job. And I'm a Tom Cruise fan. And that, to me, has always been my favorite role of his. Where he brings that Tom Cruise charm and a little bit of a larger-than-life personality, but to a character that is relatable. I could relate to his angst and his suffering.
Sure.
I could relate to it.
Yeah.
So I just really brought a lot of dimensions to it. Carried this whole movie. And Geoffrey Rush, again, like I said, worthy of some praise, but it's just really just a mimicry. And I'm not sure, there's no real layers there. I didn't feel to it. He's just sort of a dumb animal. He's like a big dumb animal. Really is. And like even the lady falls in love. Like, what do you fall in love with? It's just a freaking like animal, like, shitting in tubs and stuff. And I hated that movie. I remember when it came out. I hated that movie. Because I hated the guy, Shine, whatever his name is. I guess his name's Shine. His name. I don't even know, why was he famous. What did he do? Did he play piano?
Yeah, he was a famous concert pianist. Yeah.
I wish they dropped one on his head.
Yeah.
God, I hated that guy. Hated that movie.
Well,
the movie sucked.
It was about, he was a childhood prodigy, and then the pressure, also his other pressure, like with
That's
his
right.
family.
He snapped on stage.
He had a nervous breakdown, and then it was, the Geoffrey Rush version of the character. When he's later in life, is him making his comeback. Yeah, but that character was like 3 different actors played the character at different stages.
That's right.
And it's one of those things where it's almost like the Sean Penn, Johnny Depp argument I had earlier, where you're saying Geoffrey Rush is a really good actor, like I was saying Sean Penn's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Just that part of the problem is the limited amount of screen time versus Jerry Maguire giving a just fabulous performance. Really, I think that was like one performance. He was probably the closest to actually getting the Oscar. And so I think you can make the case that was the year he should have got it.
Yeah.
But I love Geoffrey Rush. He's a great actor. And I loved Shine as a movie. It worked for me. But we've had that. That's an old.
To me, it's like one of those crappy movies. Not just that I didn't like it. I think it's like one of those horrible movies, like a bad movie.
I
remember being
really
mad.
Liked it, but I
remember the time, like the kids that I was like pissed because like they should have all been. You should nominate all. It wasn't fair. Like you get these little kids that nobody remembers them now. I think they're dead. Anyway, nobody remembers these 2 kids. They did as much as he did.
Well,
he got the awards.
The actor that played the young man, in Shine, is still very active in films. He had a role in a key role in Vanilla Sky, and then most recently he had a key role in Predestination. So he's still around. I wish I could remember his name. I want to say it's Noah Taylor, but don't quote me on that.
I don't know who it was. I don't think anyone knows. I think it's a mystery. I think it's a mystery wrapped instead of an enigma. And shine suck. All right, we'll move on.
Thank you, Joe Pesci.
We'll move on to the ladies. What's your number one actress that was hosed?
Well, in the year 2000...
in the year 2000... Remember that?
No. Julia Roberts... Julia Roberts won for Erin Brockovich, and it was it's odd in that it's the performance of her career, but I think the best performance that year, and one of the best performances from any actress, was Ellen Burstyn for Requiem for a Dream.
Okay.
I thought she was absolutely, it was a tour de force, because here she is, she's wearing no makeup, and she's having to play someone who gets hooked on drugs. She's on uppers, really, because she's trying to like lose weight, and she's trying to like get in shape so she can go on this game show. The woman's half delusional, and the more she tries to lose weight, the more upper she gets, and she's in this like death spiral as far as the drugs. It is absolutely disturbing what happens to her. And I've never forgotten that performance. I still think it's one of the greats.
All right, well, I'm going to go to one where I actually like the one who won. Natalie Portman won for Black Swan. I can't remember the year now. Now I'm drawing blank.
2010.
2010. I liked her performance. I like Natalie Portman. I'm a big Natalie Portman fan. I thought Black Swan was a good movie. Mm-hmm. Any other year, I would not even be mentioning this. But one of my favorite performances of all time is Michelle Williams in Blue Valentine. It was so good, I cheated on another episode and broke our rule to get her mentioned in our favorite performances of all time thing. You remember that? So, like, I cheated. And I listed her as supporting, even though she's probably really the lead. So, anyway, one of my performances of all time is Michelle Williams in Blue Valentine. And she lost to Natalie Portman in Black Swan. Again, Natalie Portman, great. Any other year, she wins Best Actress, and I don't complain. And I'm really not even complaining, because it's like, okay, I'm okay that she won. I'm okay with it. I just feel like Michelle Williams was one of the better, because for me, that was like one of those all-time performances. I'm a sucker. That movie, I was such a big sucker for. You know what I mean? I just loved it.
It was
struck a chord.
That's it.
And plus, in terms of like my own artistic preferences, it was closer to what I like, and the content I'm going to try and produce myself. It was closer to all. It was in that vein, so I just loved it. It was just such a dark movie, and she was so. I love layers. One of the common things in acting is I love emotional layers, where it's not just one thing that's going on. Like Jerry Maguire and Tom Cruise, there's several things going on here, and he's got tons of emotion he's trying to convey.
Yeah.
And same thing with Michelle Williams. Same thing. And Black Swan, I'm not even going to go there to ridicule her, because her performance, there's nothing to ridicule about her performance. Just for me, there happened to be an all-time great that I just really clung to in that same year. But technically, I have to put it as that's the one that I preferred somebody else would have won.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I was saying too, because Julia Roberts, it's the performance of her career.
Yeah.
Erin Brockovich, she's magnificent in it.
It's great.
But unfortunately for her, in my eyes, Ellen Burstyn gives like one of the great performances by any actress of all time. Right. That is a top 10 of all time performance in Requiem for a Dream. So.
There you go. All right, well, that, I think, concludes our who shoulda, woulda, coulda won and who got robbed.
And Val Kilmer definitely should have been nominated. 1993. Supporting actor. I got it in there.
All right, we're going to have the last word on that. But, again, all this pales in comparison to the absolute travesty, tragedy, nightmare of Star Wars losing to Annie Hall. And that's why we made our starting point in 1977, because that was the year that, sort of like the nuclear explosion of this whole subject.
It was the night the light went out.
It was the 9/11 of Oscar snubs.
The light went out at the Oscars.
Yes. So, forever in remembrance. We should probably put our RIP Star Wars Oscar thing. R.I.P.
Yeah. I'm going to light a candle after we're done.
I'll have one of those Jesus Catholic candle things.
Ah, cool.
Did you buy at HEB? We'll get one of those. All right. So, with that, enjoy the Oscars. I'm sure we'll have more to say about the Oscars between here and Oscar time. So, with that.